While most of the world goes about daily life unaware, the United States Navy is fighting a hidden war that rarely makes headlines, one against drug submarines packed with cocaine, attempting to sneak past Navy ships and helicopters armed with machine guns. These high-stakes missions receive little public attention, despite involving billions of dollars and being linked to powerful drug cartels. Why is no one talking about this? And what happens when cartels get cornered at sea? The drug war at sea is far more complex than commonly perceived. It goes beyond speedboats and concealed cargo, involving fully operational submarines that often travel beneath the surface, making them difficult to detect by standard radar systems. Each journey can carry enough cocaine to generate hundreds of millions of dollars for trafficking organizations. These vessels didn't appear overnight. In the 1980s, Colombian cartels started with simple underwater tubes towed behind boats. By the 1990s, they had advanced to self-powered submarines, handcrafted in concealed jungle workshops, built mostly from fiberglass and wood, and hidden under dense canopies to avoid detection. Today's narco-submarines are significant feats of engineering, often measuring around 80 feet in length and capable of traveling up to 2,500 miles without refueling. They can transport as much as 10 tons of narcotics, remain mostly submerged to evade detection, and cost between $1 million and $2 million to build, yet can carry cargo worth over $150 million. Despite the risk, the potential profit makes them a highly attractive option for traffickers. Newer models are harder to detect, painted in ocean-matching tones and streamlined to reduce weight. Some even feature lead lining to mask heat emissions from thermal imaging. A key challenge to law enforcement is the submarine scuttle feature, valves that flood the vessel within minutes if pursued, sinking both the vessel and its cargo into deep waters, often beyond recovery. In 2024, Operation Orion highlighted the reach of these vessels when one was intercepted en route to Australia, having traveled over 10,000 miles, proof of a new trafficking corridor and extended long-distance capabilities. As drug cartels and military forces evolve in a constant cycle of adaptation, military agencies counter with upgraded detection tools, such as thermal imaging, drone surveillance, and AI-based pattern recognition to spot faint wakes or heat signatures. Still, for every submarine intercepted, intelligence experts estimate 3 or 4 succeed. This led to Operation Martillo, the largest anti-drug campaign in history. Formed in January 2012, this multinational alliance, named after the Spanish word for hammer, brought together 14 countries, including the U.S., U.K., France, Spain, Guatemala, and Honduras. Operation Martillo directly targeted the cartel's shipping routes, deploying military ships, aircraft, and special forces to patrol the key corridors between South America and the U.S. The results were swift, with major disruptions to the drug trade in just the first year. In 2011 alone, authorities arrested 339 smugglers and seized 101 drug-laden boats, confiscating 119 tons of cocaine valued at approximately $2.35 billion on American streets. They also seized $21 million in cartel-bound cash and $16 million worth of equipment used to conceal or transport drugs. But this was only the beginning. By late 2024, Operation Orion elevated the multinational crackdown to an unprecedented level, with 62 countries participating, from small coastal nations to global powers with formidable navies. Over a 6-week period, these countries shared intelligence, tracked suspect vessels, and intercepted drug shipments across. The operation set a world record, seizing 225 tons of cocaine in a single sweep, along with more than 1,000 tons of marijuana and other narcotics, collectively worth over $8.5 billion. Each nation contributed unique capabilities. The U.S. deployed advanced radar systems that could detect boat wakes from space. The Dutch sent underwater drones to inspect hulls. Colombian forces located jungle launch sites. And even landlocked countries contributed by monitoring financial and communication networks. What set Orion apart wasn't just its size. It was the real-time coordination. Military commanders from dozens of nations operated from joint command centers, sharing live intelligence and executing synchronized raids across time zones. When smugglers tried to reroute after hearing of a bust, they often sailed straight into another nation's patrol. These operations didn't just eliminate drugs. they gathered critical intelligence. Every seas vessel captured smuggler and intercepted device deep in law enforcement's understanding of cartel operations, expanding maps of smuggling routes and contact networks. As a result, the street price of cocaine surged due to dwindling supply, sending a clear message. The open seas were no longer a safe haven for traffickers, no matter how advanced their methods. Facing this new threat, cartels were forced to deploy even more sophisticated machines to evade capture. Their fleet now includes two core types of vessels: high-speed boats and stealth submarines. The go-fast boats, drug trafficking's workhorses, are sleek 30-foot vessels powered by 3 or 4 outboard motors, each with 250 horsepower. With over 1,000 horsepower combined, these boats reach speeds over 80 miles per hour, making them nearly impossible to intercept in open water. Often painted in ocean-blending blues and operated by a single pilot to maximize cargo space, these boats carry up to 2,000 gallons of fuel, enough to cover more than 500 miles, ideal for routes like Colombia to Jamaica or the Bahamas to Florida. Their design traces back to Prohibition-era rum runners who developed them to outpace U.S. Coast Guard ships. Today's traffickers have simply enhanced the original blueprint with modern technology. In response, the U.S. Coast Guard formed specialized airborne teams known as HITRIN, short for Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron, to chase and disable these speedboats from the sky, marking the next chapter in this high-stakes maritime battle. The HITRIN Tactical Squadron operates MH-65D Dolphin helicopters, equipped with machine guns and .50 caliber sniper rifles, serving as a key force in the fight against maritime drug smuggling. Rather than chasing down fast-moving boats, these airborne teams strike from above. When they identify a go-fast vessel, a high-speed boat commonly used by smugglers, they descend rapidly and use loudspeakers to command it to stop. If the boat continues to flee, HITRIN snipers take precise shots at its engines, disabling the vessel without endangering the crew. This tactic has become so effective that drug cartels now attempt to camouflage their boats as fishing vessels, complete with fake equipment, or install hidden compartments beneath the waterline to conceal cocaine. Some have gone further, developing hybrid boats called low-profile vessels, which combine the speed of go-fast with the stealth of submarines. These sit just above the water
Vessels
surface,
are far harder
painted
to
ocean
detect
blue,
from air patrols,
and are constructed with
radar
stealthy
dampening
submarines below the
materials.
surface and speedboats
Those slower,
above. Reaching
cartels
about 30
have
miles
created
per
a
hour.
two-pronged smuggling
These strategy that constantly keeps law enforcement guessing. However, they did not anticipate one of America's most effective weapons at sea, the USCGC James. In early 2025, this 418-foot Legend-class Coast Guard cutter delivered a devastating blow to cartel operations during a 112-day mission that became legendary. With a crew of 150 operating in continuous shifts, the James is capable of months-long deployments, making it a persistent threat to smugglers. During this single mission, it seized more than 48,000 pounds of narcotics, enough to supply a mid-sized U.S. city for an entire year, with an estimated street value of $510 million. The operation began with a major success on January 5th, when the crew launched a drone that located a suspicious vessel off Ecuador's coast. Using maritime drones capable of flying for 18 hours and reading ship names from miles away, they tracked the target until boarding teams intercepted it, capturing 3 smugglers and seizing over 2,250 pounds of cocaine. The very next day, January 6th, brought an even bigger win. Surveillance aircraft working alongside the cutter James identified 3 go-fast boats traveling together, an unusual and risky tactic. In a perfectly coordinated effort, helicopter teams intercepted all 3 vessels, capturing 9 suspects and seizing nearly 13,960 pounds of cocaine. On January 7th, smugglers switched tactics, deploying a low-profile vessel designed specifically to evade radar. But the HITRIN team was ready once again, using expert marksmanship to disable the vessel's engines without harming the crew. These operations highlighted the overwhelming capabilities of the Coast Guard and its partners, proving that even the most elusive smuggling tactics could be countered with precision, coordination, and relentless persistence. On January 18th, 8,240 pounds of cocaine were prevented from reaching American streets when smugglers, attempting to evade capture, dumped their cargo into the ocean. But the crew of the USCGC James didn't let up. While high-speed pursuit boats chased down the fleeing traffickers, other team members worked swiftly to recover the floating drug packages from the sea. Nearly 6,000 pounds of cocaine were retrieved, narcotics that would have earned the cartels millions in profits. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy also joined the fight. Vessels like the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul and the USS St. Louis conducted independent busts in the Caribbean, adding hundreds more kilograms of captured cocaine to the total haul. These combined operations dealt significant blows to powerful organizations such as the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Intelligence collected during these missions helped authorities uncover vital smuggling routes, identify key cartel members, and expose evolving trafficking techniques, all of which are now being used to plan future interdictions. But behind every successful operation lies a sophisticated command structure. At the heart of this billion-dollar game of cat and mouse is a seemingly ordinary building in Key West, Florida, home to the Joint Interagency Task Force South, JITF South. This elite command center is where America's maritime drug war is orchestrated by some of the sharpest minds in the military and law enforcement. Here, intelligence from dozens of countries and agencies converges to hunt down smugglers in real time. Satellite imagery, radar data, ship locations, and classified reports are comprehensive view of smuggling synthesized to track criminal rather than fragmented pieces. What makes JITF South the Operation Center itself is collaborative nature by thriller. FBI agents massive work digital maps Navy of the Caribbean and Pacific Coast Guard commanders every known vessel, aircraft, and Defense Department specialists monitor the screens 24/7, scanning for anomalies or multinational patterns that might give the team an illicit shipment. And when the task force detects something suspicious, they don't wait. When suspicious activity is detected, JITF South doesn't wait for approval. They have direct control over ships, planes, and helicopters ready to act instantly. This rapid response is crucial, as drug boats can disappear within minutes once they realize they've been spotted. One of JITF's most effective tools is the Ladette Teams, law enforcement detachment units from the Coast Guard. These elite groups are stationed on Navy warships, transforming military vessels into fully capable drug interdiction platforms. While Navy ships such as the USS Gurley and USS Bruins provide the firepower and sophisticated radar systems that can detect small boats from over 100 miles away, the Coast Guard personnel have the legal authority to board vessels and make arrests, something military forces alone cannot do. This partnership solves both operational and legal challenges, creating an efficient and powerful force against maritime smuggling. But JITF South doesn't just react to threats. It anticipates them. Using years of data and advanced analytics, the team produces heat maps of likely smuggling routes and positions their assets days before drug boats even leave South American shores. This predictive capability has made the task force so effective that cartels now offer large bounties for insider information. Yet, JITF constantly evolves, staying a step ahead in this high-stakes game against some of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. While JITF serves as the brain of anti-narcotic operations, the streets tell a different story. Back in the 1980s, Miami was ground zero for cocaine entering the United States. The drug trade was everywhere, from nightclubs to highways to upscale neighborhoods. Smugglers flaunted their wealth, and cash flowed so rapidly that banks struggled to keep up. But while the flashy chaos of that era faded, the drug business didn't die. It got smarter. Today's cocaine networks are decentralized. Instead of one dominant cartel, multiple smaller, specialized groups operate like pieces in a complex puzzle. Some grow and process cocaine in South America. Others manage transportation, while additional networks in Europe and Oceania handle local sales and distribution. Technology has also reshaped smuggling. Encrypted phones, GPS trackers, and even drones are now standard tools. Boats are harder to detect, often disguised as fishing vessels or hidden within containers of legal goods. Maritime routes remain the preferred highway for traffickers, especially along the Central American coast. Secretive, dangerous pathways where cargo can be dumped or transferred mid-journey if danger arises. Homemade submarines, known as narco-subs, are also increasingly used to transport large quantities of drugs. These subs float just beneath the surface, making detection incredibly difficult. In response, U.S. forces like the Coast Guard and Navy have escalated their strategies, patrolling with aircraft, using radar and sonar and tracking smuggler patterns in real time. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. As traffickers quickly adapt to enforcement tactics, changing routes and developing new methods, the U.S. adapts too. While the chaos of Miami's drug-fueled past looked like something out of a movie, today's drug networks are quieter, more complex, and global. But their goal remains the same: move product, make money, and avoid getting caught. The battle continues, with both sides watching every move.